Hey everybody, this is Scott with Precision Insulation and Coatings. What we're going to discuss today is the difference in the closed cell and the open cell foams. Know who you're hiring and know what you're buying. And so that's what we're gonna discuss today. I've got a couple samples that I can show you and explain. I'll go inside and get those samples and do a little explanation on the difference between the two foams and the performances and the attributes of each foam. And then also know who you're hiring. Is it just some random company? Is it a big company, a small company? Either way, are they certified spray foam applicators? Recently I went through a program to be certified installer, master installer, which isn't really required at all in the state of Iowa. I just went ahead and went through it for the extra certifications. So all right, we'll get right back at it here. Let me go inside and grab some samples of these foams. Okay, so what we have here is we've got our open and closed cell foam. This is the closed cell foam here. This is the open cell foam. This is harder. It's got compressive strength of 28 to 30 pounds per square inch. It offers a moisture and vapor barrier attribute, as well as insulation. It'll add strength to the building. There's just a lot of good attributes with this foam, and this has kind of got like that orange peel texture to it. That's how it's supposed to look. This is about an inch thick, offering, depending on which manufacturer, it can offer anywhere from like a 6.7 to a 7, an R7, or a 6.7, 6.8 R value per inch. On this open cell foam here, they offer anywhere from, let's say, like a 3.6 or up to I've seen up to a 4.1 per inch on R value. You can see the difference in texture. I mean, this is a random sample that I just grabbed off the floor somewhere, but this is an open cell foam. It's a lot softer and it will take on moisture. There's no moisture barrier or vapor barrier attributes about this foam at all. This is a 1 pound foam actually, so it'll get a little bit better R value per inch than, let's say, what they call a half pound foam. And half pound is basically the density. It's like a half a pound per cubic foot, or this would be 1 pound per cubic foot. But this is more of a hybrid. It's an open cell foam. It will take on moisture, as opposed to this, if something drips on it, it's not going to suck it up like a sponge like this will. We use this mostly in climate zone 5 here in Iowa. It's a humid environment. With the winter, in the winter months, you can get a vapor drive, with heat, heating and cooling. Let's say, especially in like a metal buildings, if you get leaks, this isn't going to take on moisture like an open cell foam will. So the attributes of the open cell foam is an air barrier and insulation. And that's pretty much it. You don't get the vapor barrier, you don't get a moisture barrier. And there's a difference between those, a vapor barrier and a moisture barrier. This is a moisture resistant. Nothing's really going to penetrate this. I will put a couple samples in a couple different jars, one of closed cell, one of open cell, and I'll put it in some water, and you can see that this, even years later, it will not saturate with water. This will. It'll saturate just like a sponge and absorb. This can be used in our climate zone here in Iowa in the right conditions. It's not meant for every application. And so primarily, we spray primarily a closed cell foam, and there's less potential problems with that in the long run. Anywhere where there's like a radical climate change or climate swings, let's say in the summer, you might get a hot day and then a really cold summer night, and then the next day is hot again. That can create condensation and moisture problems. And if you've got this, let's say in a metal building, it could saturate and you could develop moisture inside the foam. And in the wintertime, what can happen is you can actually develop a frost line inside the open cell foam because of the vapor drive of humidity from the inside of, whatever you're heating. Like say if you're in a metal building and you're heating it, and then you shut that heat off overnight, and eventually it'll condensate. Dew point will meet temperature at some point, and it will condensate. And then the same when you go to heat that building back up again, and that vapor drive can develop up inside this foam and develop a frost line inside the foam and eventually deteriorate. However, if you have a leak in your roof, open cell will let you know that the roof is leaking. And you can make those repairs, and you might have to rip out some of this foam as opposed to this here. If you have a roof leak with this, the foam will not saturate. It's not going to come into the building. However, if you've got fasteners on your metal roof that are exposed, obviously you need to make sure those are the seal is good on those fasteners, or if they're like a no reveal fastener on your metal building. But anyway, that's the open and closed cell foam. This is again the closed cell foam. It's rigid, it's hard, and there's just a lot more attributes to using this kind of spray foam in not only homes but shops, crawl spaces. You would never spray an open cell foam in a crawl space because of the humidity levels, the dampness. I don't spray it in crawl spaces. I don't spray it on basement walls. It's only really good in areas that are going to be conditioned year around, where the utilities are always going to be left on, whether it's heated and cooled. But you would never spray this in an area where you're not going to keep that area conditioned, just to keep the quality of the foam. And if you want the manufacturer to back up their foam and their product, then you need to stick within their guidelines for applications. And so that's just kind of what it is. So know who you're hiring, know what you're buying, and at Precision, we're certified installers, and we've got some master installer certifications that we're currently submitting. And we're just going to be waiting on the paperwork for that. But a master installer for spray foam, know who you're hiring, because we know what we're doing, and we know how to do it right. And I can't say the same for everybody, but we make a point to be certified. We make a point to be trained, and we're promising quality applications. So that's Precision on the insulation side, on the spray foam side of Precision Insulation and Coatings. Thanks for watching.